In today's video, we are going to go over how to make your everyday strengthening routine a balance exercise. Now, the reason this is so important is balance is the ability to maintain our center of gravity, our center of mass, over our base of support. And although that may seem simple, there's a lot of systems involved in our ability to be able to do that. So in order for our body or our brain and our body to work together to make sure that our center of gravity stays over our base of support, and or our brain and our body work together to adjust to bring our center of gravity back within our base of support, requires several different systems. So we have pressure receptors in our feet that kind of feel when the pressure shifts underneath our feet. We also have sensors in our muscles and our tendons that sense length, and those also give our brain valuable information as to when we are losing our balance or when something disrupts our position, our body's position within our feet. And then we also have the vestibular system, which is a very complicated system in the inner ear that senses our head position. So if our head tilts to the side or our head rotates, that system also sends information to the brain. We also have visual information going into the brain. So images of structures in our environment kind of help our brain and our body to know if we're oriented to vertical just based on the structures around us. And all of that information is constantly coming in, and almost automatically our brain processes all of that information and quickly sends a response to adjust our body position to make sure if it is disrupted and outside of our base of support that it can quickly and accurately get within our base of support and prevent us from falling. So very complicated system, and the important thing to know, and the reason for this video, is that our balance declines potentially over time. And the reason for that is all those systems that I just mentioned, they do have a tendency to degrade as we age, unless you are incorporating exercises into your daily exercise routine that helps to strengthen or sharpen these systems. The other reason that it's important is maybe there is a system, one of those components, that is degrading or slowing down a little bit. By doing balance exercises or challenging your body where you're disrupting your center of gravity or you're taking the certain senses away, so by closing your eyes, you're taking those senses away, you're actually strengthening the other senses. So we want to incorporate as many of these senses as possible, but also eliminate them occasionally to make sure that we can strengthen the remaining senses. And again, then it all just works together in a seamless manner that we really don't even think about. So how do you incorporate a balance activity into everyday strengthening exercises that you're already doing? Well, one is by changing your base of support. So widest base of support is obviously the easiest and requires the least amount of processing of information coming into your environment. So statically standing still, nothing bumping into you, feet wide is probably requires very little sensory information coming into the brain. The next more challenging position would be to challenge your balance a little bit more by narrowing your base of support or putting your feet side by side. You can further narrow your base of support by putting one foot in front of the other, and then further narrow your base of support by lifting one foot. So that again is sharpening those sensors that are in the bottom of our foot to respond, and it's also sharpening the response time. So by narrowing the base of support, now your body does have to be a little bit more efficient, react a little bit faster, get input a little bit faster in order to maintain your balance. So that's number one, is you want to adjust your foot position with any activity that you're doing. So, for example, if you're just going to be doing standing bicep curls, or maybe you do your bicep curls sitting down, you could try doing them standing with your feet in a straight line for one, and right there you're adding a balance exercise to that bicep curl exercise. You could even work on it on one leg, and again, now you're getting more bang for your buck. Now, on the reverse, the other thing, by adding a strengthening exercise to a balance exercise, you're actually doing what we call like a split attention activity or a dual task activity, which makes your balance reactions or responses have to be a little bit more automatic, meaning that you don't have the ability to think and process all that information, which is a good thing. You want it to be automatic. So on the reverse side, I'm talking in this video about adding a balance activity to your strengthening routine. There's benefit from adding a strengthening exercise to your balance routine, again, to get that split attention kind of component to further sharpen your balance system. So again, number one is changing your foot position. The next thing you can do is you can change the surface under your feet. What that kind of does is it eliminates, or it doesn't allow your body to use the pressure sensors in your feet as much. So again, by eliminating that component of that complicated balance system that I talked about and all that information coming in, again, you're sharpening those senses. So to do that, you would just do it standing on foam. So again, now you're kind of taking those senses away from your feet a little bit. You can again start with your feet wide, then bring your feet together, and then just do your arm routine standing on foam. And again, now you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. You're not getting good input from your sensors in your feet, so the other senses do have to be a little bit stronger to assess when you are shifting off midline or when your center of mass is shifting off your or outside your base of support and being able to bring it back. The next way to challenge your balance or incorporate a balance activity into a strengthening activity is actually stand on something that is going to throw you off balance. So remember, balance is our ability to restore our center of gravity over our base of support when our balance is disrupted. By standing on something that disrupts that center position a little bit, again, is sharpening those reactions that have to work to bring your center of gravity back over your base of support. And again, then you just do your strengthening exercises, again, on something that's deliberately throwing you off balance so that you do have to work a little bit harder. Your balance system has to work a little bit harder to keep your center of mass over your base of support. And then the other system that you can work is your visual system. So if your head is moving, your brain cannot get good, accurate images of those reference points in your environment. So it does make it a little bit more challenging to maintain your body in a vertical position. So it's always beneficial to add something where you're rotating your head or moving your gaze a little bit. So you could do what a lot of people already do in their exercise program is a lunge row. And you could do something like this, but as you row back, turn your head to the right. And same thing on the left. As you row, turn your head to the left. Again, that's one way of kind of distorting or disrupting those images that your brain is trying to use as reference points. So add something where you're moving your head or moving your gaze in a way that, again, your brain is not getting good visual information, and therefore it'll have to rely on some of those other systems. And then the other way to incorporate a balance activity into a strengthening routine is kettlebell swings in any direction. So kettlebell swings just inherently kind of throw your body around a little bit, and your job is to not let it. So again, you're sharpening some of those muscles that need to react really quickly to maintain your center of gravity over your base of support. So one way you can do that, we'll narrow the base. So all of the weight, this is kind of like a single leg stand. This other leg is just down here as a kickstand. And then just kind of tossing that kettlebell up in front of you, switching hands. And again, your leg has to fight really hard. Not only is it a strengthening exercise, but it definitely has to fight really hard also to handle your body being disrupted as that kettlebell goes from hand to hand. You can also go side to side. Again, really challenging that entire balance system, as well as getting your heart rate up a little bit and getting a full body strengthening exercise out of it. And then I just have some other things over here that you can also use. Just get creative, have fun with it. A Bosu Ball is actually a really good tool. So putting it ball facing down will definitely challenge your body, similar to that wobble board. But also ball facing up, you can challenge your balance and do those strengthening exercises on it with it this way. You could also do it just with one foot on it and do your bicep curls. All of these foot position changes and changing the surfaces underneath your feet are adding a balance exercise to a strengthening exercise that you're already doing. And then this right here is called a Step 360. I'll put links for all these in the description below. This is kind of like a little bit of an easier variation of a Bosu Ball. So it definitely has like these little air discs or air bladder things underneath it. So it does disrupt your balance a little bit. And again, you can just go to town with all of your strengthening exercises. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you're new to this channel and you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so that you will get notified every time I upload new videos. I enjoyed spending time with you all today, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.